Congratulations, class of 2020. You guys did it. This is such an awkward milestone, but please take a moment to take a deep breath, be present, and just think of your experiences in the past 4 years here, the person you were when you came in, and the person you are now about to leave. I think you guys all deserve a collective dab, and I'll throw the woe to you, and if you can catch it if you want. Um, Wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you are well. I consider this sort of my parting words to the class of 2020, and I want to leave you with some thoughts and questions that I have. Um, so, the first thing is you're graduating from the Bronx High School of Science. So, what is science? The part of it is underscores the power of curiosity to change people and to change the world. It's also, there's a lesson there about no one having a monopoly on truth. Even when I'm telling you right now, you have to check what other people say against your own experiences, against your own observations. There is no greater. No one has the ability to say whether something is true except by going out and observing it. So that has implications about us and some of our deeply cherished beliefs and views about the world and the way things work. The scientific method calls on us to be humble. You don't get to spend enough time talking about the scientific method in school, unfortunately. So much is spent on learning about what others have learned. But at its heart, science is about the scientific method. And the essence of the scientific method is making sure you don't fool yourself. Especially when there's something about the world that you want to be true. That is when we're most easy to be fooled. So science calls on us to be open and humble to challenging our beliefs. The second thing I want to impart to you guys is to always be a student at heart. You're graduating high school and I'm suddenly trying to reel you back in to be a student. But it's about being humble and open to learning from other people. When you close yourself off and say, I have nothing to learn from you, or from your experience, you're saying you have a monopoly on the truth. And you're closing yourself off to learning and growing. You don't have to listen to what they say. What they say may not be true, but you can still learn from that person, from anybody. There comes a time where you have to close the book and sort of just, there's no more time for fact finding. You have to act on what you know. But in principle, please be open to learning from anyone and anything. Just following on that, drink deeply from good books. A book is kind of like years worth of someone's experiences and what they've learned and synthesized and distilled, and you have access to it at your fingertips. Continuously learn from others, and books are a good resource at that. My book recommendations to you guys are number one, Wooden by John Wooden, and Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. These books have changed me personally. They've changed the way I view the world, and they've helped me navigate this life. If you have time, check them out. On the topic of navigating life, your homework for today is to check out on YouTube a clip, Pale Blue Dot by Carl Sagan. It's a recording of his, maybe about 4 minutes. It's an experience that's hard to convey. You have to experience it yourself. So that's why I direct you there. But pulling from that, being inspired from that, it definitely shaped me, especially when I was young in high school. Pulling from that, it's just observations. On the scale of the universe, light years across, Earth is just a dot, a speck of dust suspended in a sunbeam. On the cosmic calendar, if you were to compress 14 billion years onto the span of 12 months, the human species has existed for just minutes. And each of our lives, we're here only for fractions of a second. Those are just facts, observations. And for me, there are questions that are naturally raised, like, what does that mean what does that mean for our lives? What does that mean for how we want to deal with others, interact with them, how we want them to be treated? What does that say? What does that tell us about this planet, this speck of dust? In the vast cosmic arena, it's the only place known to harbor life. It's our home. What does that smallness say about what it means to live a meaningful life? Joy, happiness, fulfillment, meaning. Are these things to find externally, or do we make them ourselves internally? About 9 years ago, Bill Clinton gave a speech at UAlbany, and 3 questions remained with me that I want to impart to you. Where are we? Where do we want to go? How do we get there? To those 3 questions, I want to add that it's part of the process to adjust our answers to those questions. Believe it or not, you as you are right now, you're gonna change and grow. When I was, back in the day when I was your age, I thought I had a handle on things. I thought I had life figured out. It would have shocked me how much I have changed and grown since then. And there's some things that I still hold dear. Carl Sagan's words. There are things that are uncompromisable that are still with me, but there are also just experiences that have shaped me. So in the intervening years and months, in the upcoming years and months, you will change, you will grow. You will perhaps experience love and perhaps feel its keen sting. You will learn about yourself and the world and others. You'll grow. You'll face hardships. And you'll persist through those hardships. You'll adapt. You will make lifelong friends. And those cherished friends that you hold right now may weave into and out of our lives. Growing and changing, that's part of the process. And you owe it to yourself to return continuously to those 3 questions. Where am I? Where do I want to go? And how do I get there? This quarantine has given me... It's sad to say, but for me it's been a gift of time and space to think about these big questions. Questions that I would love for our institutions to incorporate more readily and to focus on in everyday practice. The big questions of life, the eternal questions. 10 years, or I guess in the upcoming months and years, we won't have these extraordinary circumstances to create space for us to think about those big questions, to think intentionally about the lives we want to live. So it's on us, each of us, it's our responsibility to create and hold space for that, to maintain it. The grind, it tends to, we get wrapped up in it, and there is a time and place for nose to the grindstone and just digging away. But please make time and space to think about the stuff of life. I wish that you could have the typical experiences of a high schooler to celebrate this moment in your life. to cherish it. But instead, you get a life lesson. Maybe that's better. Good or bad, hard to say. Um, I think it has something to do with, like, if you want something to happen in this life, maybe it's on you to make it happen, to be the change we wish to see in the world. I only have a 10-year head start on you, so I don't have life figured out. And spoiler alert, no one does. All we have are our experiences and what we've learned from them, what we've synthesized from them, and that the fact that we're all continuously figuring this out. So focus on that process. Always focus on the process. This piece of paper, it's just a marker. The stuff of life is in that every day, making each day count. In the process of making each day count. So focus on that process. That's the part you can control. I want to leave you with my grandpa's last words to my mom. Balo taco means stay well. So stay well, everyone. Much love.